Hi everyone, I'd like to take you through this game of mine. My opponent playing white was Tanmawi and he was unrated, so I'm assuming weaker than me. My rating at the time was 1345. The game kicks off with 1 e4 by my opponent. I reply 1 c5, known as a Sicilian defense. He plays knight f3, I play knight c6, d4, cd4, knight d4, and I play knight f6 here, attacking his pawn on e4. He defends that with knight c3, and I put my pawn now in the middle of the board onto e5, attacking his knight, asking what he wants to do. He puts it back on f3. I play bishop b4, getting my pieces out and also creating a threat. My threat is to take on e4 with my knight, because his knight is pinned to the king. It's known as an absolute pin. He does something about that. He breaks the pin. I castle. He gets his bishop out to d3 so that he can castle. I decide here to give up my bishop for his knight, so that I can play this aggressive move d5. I notice that I have a lead in development and I want to expose his lack of it. He plays queen e2 and I decide to lunge in with my knight into d4. He takes, I take back, and now he pushes his pawn to e5. I react to that with rook e8, introducing another pin, because that pawn cannot take my knight. My rook would simply capture his queen and that'd be good for me. He castles, and I now put my bishop on g4, introducing the third pin of the game. He moves his queen out of the way, but this is not the best square for his queen. I can now lunge in with my knight, which was hit, into e4. He gives up his bishop for it, and now takes a pawn on d4. I capture back with my rook on e5. At this time, material is equal. He now plays knight b3. He's hoping that I will take his queen like this and he can take back with the knight and sort of steer the game into calmer waters. I decide not to do that. I place my queen on f6 because I feel my pieces are more active. I don't need to trade yet, and there are some latent threats to his king if he's not careful. He now plays not a good move. Playing h3, attacking my bishop. I develop my rook to d8, attacking his queen. He moves his queen, and now I place my bishop on f3, and I'm very proud of this move. I think it's the move of the game. It seems like I'm just giving up my bishop. I mean, his pawn can just take my bishop and he'll be material up seemingly, but that's really not the case. Let me show you what would happen if he took. I would take back with my pawn, and his queen would be attacked with this other rook now. He would have to move away. So let's say he would take on this square, taking a pawn. That would lead to checkmate. Go check and checkmate. So he decides to play rook e1, but that's a mistake again. I play rook g5. So now my bishop cannot be taken. Once again, there's a pin. This time his king is pinned. The pawn is pinned to his king, sorry. He moves it forward to protect it. I play queen f5, hitting the pawn on h3, which would again threaten checkmate. He tries to bring his knight back into the game and get rid of my bishop on f3. So I play another good move, if I might say so. I take that knight off with my rook. This is an exchange sacrifice. Why? Because my rook is worth more than his knight. He takes the rook, and now I play h6. Very important move. If I was to casually go take this pawn and say that I'm just going to checkmate you, well, he'd get there first. That would be checkmate. This is known as a back rank checkmate, since my king cannot move up the ranks. So I play h6, giving my square a king's a square on h7 in case he does that. He now must protect his pawn on h3 by playing king h2. I attack it again. And now he plays g4, and you might think, well, there's a blunder. It looks like he's forking my queen and my rook with his pawns, but that's not the case because of tactics. Rook takes h3, check, king must take, queen takes g4, check again, king h2 only move, allowing queen g2 checkmate, and that's how the game ended. Thank you.